This house, the Sandford House, was built in 1797. It was built by Duncan McLaurin. And then the U.S. World Bank was coming to town, and they upgraded some of the architectural features. John Sandford was from Philadelphia, and he came to be the bank clerk. And he met Margaret Halliday, and they were married and raised a family here. They went on their honeymoon to Philadelphia because that's where John was from. And I believe that that's where probably this mirror was first purchased and a few other pieces. And when Mr. Mumford came to look at it, it was leaning toward the floor. It was hanging by a very thin, rusty wire and a big piece of rope. It was not in good shape. I didn't realize just how difficult it was. They took it down, and the whole, I call it the crown piece, it was just flapping in the breeze. And many of the pieces, many of the elements were broken and missing. Someone through the years had tried to paint over the frame, and it had a very brown, it looked like a brown mirror, basically. And we discussed it, and of course, he said, "Ooh, I think I can fix this." And I thought, I bet you can too. So, but this took a lot of work to rebuild some of the features at the top and around, and to remove those layers of whatever that was on top. And so this is the way I'm sure Mrs. Sandford saw the mirror when she selected it. And it had been in the Sandford home and passed around for generations, so by the time we got it, we were pleased to have it because it's one of the few original pieces to the house. But it was in terrible, terrible shape.
So for our team at Mumford Restoration, it's just a privilege to work on, you know, old pieces. Just an example of, you know, an 18th century mirror that, you know, that they purchased in Pennsylvania. So we're talking about right at the turn of the century, maybe 1797 to 1800. And so when we came to look at it, as Lynda had described, it was really in disrepair. The top had crumbled, the wire was showing between the plaster and the wood at the top. And then the gilt had, as she described, had been painted over. And so we thought, all right, well, what are we going to do? Because we don't want to take on the expense of re-gilding the whole mirror. We don't want to go leak the whole mirror. So what we did was cleaned off as much of the residue of the poor paint that was on. And we did some gold rubbing and highlights and so forth, but mostly we focused on repair. Because we didn't want to make it into a dramatic new gilded mirror. That would have been a mistake, because then, you know, our 200-year story of the history, you know, would not be something that represented. So part of the story is that it got painted and it needed repair. And so as we worked through that, we thought, all right, well, we're going to do a restoration process that focuses mostly on repair. And it's just exciting to see it back up there. It took 4 of us again to get that monster of a mirror hung again. But now it leans properly and nobody's scared that they're going to get crushed if it falls. And so it's just a privilege to be a part of the Heritage Square and to be able to join in on the restoration. So we are grateful for that.
Oh, well, we are very grateful that the only question I had when I called was, will he come to Fayetteville? Will he make that trip to come help us? He first came down here and repaired historic exterior shutters on the Oval Ballroom in the Baker Haig Nimitz house. And I was thrilled that he would come and do that, because it is very difficult to find someone that really knows what they're doing and can execute it. And of course, Mumford Restoration and the whole team work so well together, and they do such a fantastic job. It's a privilege. I worked with Mr. Mumford for, I remember dragging a broken carousel horse. The head was off, it was the body, the legs were off, the tail was off. I knew it was too big a job for me. And They did an excellent job. It's actually in my dining room. Those type of pieces, and I would always drag all kinds of things that were in horrible shape, and it was like a miracle, you know, before and after. And you know, you can enjoy those pieces for years to come, and hopefully my son and grandchildren will enjoy some of those unique pieces that you can't find anymore.
That's right.